Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of Heroes Trek with me, your host Lemire. And today we're going to talk about another exciting book which I really love and I think is really an awesome one. An awesome read, a fun read. But before we do that, could you do me a favor? Hope everybody's safe and well in these crazy times and you're taking care of yourself and your families. That's what's most important. Followed by that, if you really like the channel and you like the videos that I'm making, please click the like button and also actually click the subscribe button. That really helps the channel out a lot, especially a channel that's first starting out and we're trying to get some people to view these fun videos, and hopefully they're fun and hopefully you guys are having fun watching them. So today I want to talk about a book that reminded me of all those Silver Age team-ups, the kind of team-ups that we all remember, or some of us remember growing up, like for instance the team-up between the Teen Titans and the X-Men. That was a good one back in the 80s. But even before that, the team-ups between the different teams like Justice League and Justice Society, the Crisis on Two Worlds, and so on. All these different stories that took place, and it was great to see two teams kind of get together. Of course, the traditional cliche of superhero teams is that at first they start arguing and fighting, and then they, of course, they become friends afterwards. It's like the whole thing storming first and then norming. Like when with teams, and then. It's great to see that, and when written well, it's even more fun to kind of watch this and read this team up. And now, of course, you don't see that as much. You see teams teaming up, but you don't see teams from different companies and comic book companies teaming up. And this is one of those ones that came out a little while ago. And what it is, it's of course, it's a Black Hammer teaming up with Justice League, or as they say, Black Hammer or Justice League. Here's the spine. And if for those of you, everybody knows the Justice League: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, all these different characters, Cyborg, Hawkgirl. The Justice League has a kind of a rotating roster of characters, but for the most part, you've got Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman as always part of that main core group. I mean, Aquaman as well. But you've got on the cover here, which is a really nice cover, and you've got on the cover, you see all the different characters, the Justice League characters. All right, you've got Superman, you've got Wonder Woman, you've got Batman, and you've got Cyborg, right? And then if I flip that around, here you have the actual characters from the Black Hammer series. We'll get to that in a moment because maybe some people don't know exactly what Black Hammer, what team that is, who it's from, who it's by, and so on, who it was created by. But we'll get into that. And here what you have Abraham Slam, you've got Barbalian, you've got Dragonfly, and you've got Gail, who's an interesting take and an important character in this series. But an interesting take on the Shazam kind of mythos, where you say a magic word and you get transformed. But while Shazam gets transformed, or Captain Marvel, as we used to call him in the old school days, gets transformed from a little boy into an adult man, Gail goes the other way. She says her magic word, Xafram, and she gets transformed into a little girl. And so this is a team. You don't really need to know anything about that team, because this team, the Black Hammer team, was actually created by Jeff Lemire. I mean, that's a name that I think a lot of people are familiar with. He wrote Essex County, he wrote numerous different superhero stories and tales. He's written Descender from Image, a lot of books, a really good writer, but I think he excels and he writes the best when he's writing his own stuff, rather than working for Marvel or DC, what have you. So what is this about? And this is, by the way, is a standard size hardcover. It's by Dark Horse Comics, and it was, I think the miniseries came out in single issues last year, and now we've got this really nice hardcover of the series. So let me read from the back, as I usually do, just to give you guys an idea of what the blurb is, and maybe that'll hook you into getting the book if you haven't gotten the book. And if you already have the book and you've read it, I'd love to hear your comments about it below, because that way, we can talk about this book, which really caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it to be this good, and it turns out to be really, really good. I mean, just really, I could read it once, even twice, maybe 3 times, even more. Sometimes I buy these books and I can read it once and I know I'll never read it again. And I'm like, I don't know. But this one is worth adding to your library. And if you haven't checked out Black Hammer, it's available right now in a wonderful library edition, which is really, really blows up the artwork, and it's just really beautiful to look at. So what is this about? It's this DC Comics and Dark Horse Comics present the ultimate superhero crossover event. You gotta love that hyperbole, right? A strange man arrives simultaneously on Black Hammer Farm and in Metropolis, and both worlds are warped as Starro attacks. Batman, Green Lantern, Flash, Wonder Woman, Superman, and more cross over with Golden Gail, Colonel Weird, and the rest of the Black Hammer gang. This collects, of course, Black Hammer, Justice League, Hammer of Justice, which is the actual title of the story itself, number 1 to 5, and features pinup art by Yanick Paquette, Yuko Shimizu, Matteo Scalera, Andrea Sorrentino, Evan Doc Shaner, Jill Thompson, and more. So the hardcover itself retails for $29.99 for the hardcover. Of course, you can find it online for probably half the price. Well worth. Really well put together hardcover. You know, Dark Horse does an amazing job with their hardcovers, and it reminds you, it has this like Silver Age feel. You really feel like you've gone kind of back in time. You're not doing, it's just, as I could say, maybe even timeless. Jeff Lemire has did a fine balance between the two teams so that one team doesn't look better than the other team. I mean, this could have been an easy one that his own creation, he could have favored his own creation and really, really made them shine in this over the Justice League, right, which is more established. But in this case, he lets both teams shine equally, and they meet together through different ways. And if you don't want to be spoiled about it, don't listen to this next one. I'll give a hint. It's by this character that has a really, really hard name to pronounce. Part of the Superman, one of the Superman villains. He's been around for many, many decades. But the premise of the story, Black Hammer, in a nutshell, the group, the team, is stuck on this farm, on this little kind of side world, for lack of a better word. They were fighting like their anti-god. They were talking about, this really, really super crazy villain that they had, and they found themselves in this weird little dimension, which is a small town and a farm, but they can't go beyond that. They're kind of trapped in this small patch of land. And if they try to go, like Black Hammer, one of the original characters of the team, tried to get out from there, he didn't survive. So what is the story about, and why should you read this? Well, first, the artwork by Michael Walsh it's not Jim Lee, and it doesn't have to be. And it's more, I just think it fits the Black Hammer world so well, but he draws both the Black Hammer team and Justice League characters really well, as you can see from the cover. The artwork is not your typical kind of artwork. I don't want to spoil anything, but of course it is very detailed in its own way, and it's more impressionistic. I guess it's not like your typical 90s books or DC books that you normally see on the stands. I think that it fits the story perfectly, and certainly he's put a lot of effort into this book. All the different characters. It's just really well drawn. I mean, the artwork is really nice. So the two teams are in, one of course, the Justice League is on the DC main planet, I guess, or the world, and Black Hammer's in this other dimension. Now, how the two shall meet? Well, of course, you throw in some magic, and alakazam, or as Zatanna would say it backwards, but I won't attempt to say it backwards. The next thing you know, they flip-flopped. So while the Justice League is battling Starro in the middle of that, what happens is this magical being appears, this strange magical man, and next thing you know, the teams go in the different ways, replaced. Like the Black Hammer team or the team, that team goes into the world of the DC universe, and the Justice League is stranded on the farm, thinking that they're there for a long time, and you wouldn't think that would work because you've got these characters first. The thing is, they don't meet at first, the main characters. One is one is back to the farm where the Black Hammer team was, and the other is back on the DC universe. So this details their struggles with being in each other's universe. So while the Black Hammer team, like Abe and of course Gail and Barbalian, what a great name, Barbalian. And if you hadn't figured it out, Jeff Lemire has a really strong love for Silver Age DC characters. And so a lot of these characters are built on the archetypes of course, Superman and Batman, Shazam, and Martian Manhunter. And so it's interesting, where this series gets a lot of fun is that when the team meets the remaining Justice League members that are left back in the DC universe, Aquaman and of course Martian Manhunter meeting Barbalian, both of them being Martians but somehow a little bit different, and Gail, of course, being a 60-year-old woman trapped in the body of I believe a 9 or 10-year-old, keeps hitting on Aquaman, creating awkward moments and so on. So it's really hilarious. I mean, the dialogue is very witty and funny, and the way that the team is brought back together, both teams, and even though they don't meet till the end, really the main team members like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, just seeing the interactions in the different worlds that have been created, the DC universe versus the farm, is well worth the price of admission. I mean, it's just such a good story from beginning to end. Each of the 5 issues ends on a cliffhanger that you can't wait to turn the page. And so I have to say that this book really surprised me. I think it will really surprise you. Well worth checking out. It's Black Hammer, Justice League. And I just wanted to show you one little thing more before I wrap this up, is that each of the chapter pages, including the title, has these nice pages where you have both teams. And for instance, you have the one team member on the top and one team member on the bottom, from the Black Hammer universe to the DC universe. And it's just really, the story is just really nice. And by the way, Jeff Lemire throws in pretty much a wish list of every character you could possibly really want to see in this kind of crossover, including Zatanna, the Spectre, the Green Lantern Corps. I mean, they're all in here. And ultimately, of course, you find out who this magical man is, and I don't want to spoil it. You find out who he is, and it kind of makes sense, and also sets up a sequel. Not to say that this is a cliffhanger ending. It's not. It's a complete story, but it keeps the door open in the future. At the end, the extras themselves, you've got pinups by different major artists from the comics world. That one was, of course, by Andrea Sorrentino. He is a frequent collaborator with Jeff Lemire. They did the fantastic Green Arrow run. And you've got different like Yanick Paquette, and just really some nice variant covers in the back. See all these variant covers. Look at that. By the way, yes, Bizarro does make an appearance, including the Bizarro version of the Black Hammer universe characters, which is really, really nice to see. And then finally, you've got sketchbooks and artists' renderings and so on like that. All in all, from beginning up, I'm going to show that page that has the spoiler as to who that magical man is. But just like magic, just like Silver Age magic, a sprinkling of Silver Age magic on this book, which Jeff Lemire poured into his heart and soul with writing the scripts for this. This is a book that any fan of comics, you don't even have to know anything about either of the teams, you'd love it anyway. So, pick it up, read it, comment below, and if you've already read it, comment below so I can hear what you have to say. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to talk comics with everyone out there. So, make sure, hope you enjoyed the video, make sure if you like the video, click on that like button, right? Also, help us out, click on the subscribe button. You can also, up here somewhere, see the tweet to Heroes Trek at on Twitter, and I'd love to hear those comments any which way I can. I will see you real soon. Right now we're gonna take a pause. We're gonna have like a little bit of the previous videos that you can click on somewhere around here, and you can see these videos, and I hope you like to see the other ones as well that we've put together. I'll see you real soon. Until then, take care guys. See you real soon.